and break these up as much as possible. We're not going to do this. We're not going to try to empty the entire bowl this way. We're just doing this again to knock out the majority of the rings. And it's a convenient way to make sure there's, we've got out everything that we wanted to get out. I don't think we have space. I don't think 4 cups is enough. Because we do want them reasonably well covered. Yeah, we're gonna use a plate. We're gonna use the stove. It's not there's not enough space, not enough free space in there. So let's see. This is probably a 4 cup. This is a 6 cup. 6 cups should work. Tempted to even use something a bit bigger. Like, I think that's going to be a little crowded. We also don't want to waste it. We don't want to do too much oil. We'll do this. This should be fine. Managed to hit some button inside here. Let's make sure I didn't stop it. All right, we're good. Let me grab more oil. Because it is going to reduce. That's the other nice thing about it. I'm just confirming. Okay, so let's grab some more oil. We've added about 1.5 cups of oil so far, so we're going to do another 1/2 cup or so. It's not going to cover, but it'll be a good amount. Because it is going to break down pretty well. That should do it. And we'll have this ready. And the oil, we're not wasting that. Like, don't worry, that is not going to be wasted oil. Instead, we're going to save the oil and use it not only for the shrimp and grits, so we have some nice, shallot oil, but I'm also going to use it for that soy balsamic dressing, assuming I have time. So that should be a nice little twofer. Let's utilize what we have. We're going to place this over a high heat. So we're going to move this guy back. Got both burners going. We're going to take a second to do a little bit of cleaning. We're going to be chopping more shallots, so I don't need to worry about this too much. But I'm going to get rid of the all the shallot paper. This. Oh, we have it here. Might as well get the paper off these shallots just so we can kind of preemptively get them ready. think I only need one, and I'm gonna need one for the dressing. So we'll do one at a time. Realize there's a very thin paper layer down at the bottom. That's just gonna make, just remove that. All this just popped right off. So again, I think I mentioned the original recipe does call for bacon. The original recipe does call for chicken stock. And we're doing it our way, again, to accommodate for the friend coming over who is vegetarian. It's also a fun way just to modify how you cook. It's a good way to learn, or, like, learn different techniques, different kinds of foods that you can utilize. Kind of what fits you and your preferences. So I'm grabbing now a pair of wooden chopsticks, because this is now at heat, and we're going to be paying attention to this. So I'm going to turn down the heat of our stock, turn up the heat of our shallots, and we're going to kick the cam over. I'm going to be paying attention to that pretty carefully. This is going to be a pretty, I'll be standing over these almost the entire time, especially once I start seeing some bubbling. We got a little bit of leeway. Once they start turning color, like at the 5-minute mark, it's all hands on deck. All I'm doing is focusing on this. Once you make them, they're good for like a month or 2 months in an airtight container. So that's kind of awesome. A recipe calls for cheese and grit. Will you leave that out? No, I'm going to include that. The person is fine with cheese. Is fine with cheese. Is fine with shrimp. So I do have Gruyere. I've got a nice block of Gruyere in the fridge. I actually probably want to take it out now to start letting it warm up. But yeah, nice block of like a mild Gruyere is kind of what we're looking for here, especially with all the mushrooms. Good comment. If I was to make a vegan version of this, obviously wouldn't do the shrimp, but I could probably double up on the amount of mushrooms. I think mushrooms and grits would be a pretty tasty combo right there. I'll probably do mushrooms if I was doing no shrimp. If I was doing a vegan version of this, I would probably do shiitakes and oysters. I wouldn't do cremini, and I would make almost like a miso broth, miso soup broth. So no kombu, no katsubushi, but I'll probably use some miso sauce and some soy sauce as the base. Hey, Jesus! Hope you're doing well today, sir. Right now, Jesus, we've got some shrimp stock going back here. We have some. I'm going to be making fried shallots. And the fried shallots will be a topping for our shrimp and grits. It is a small pan, but we want to minimize the amount of oil that we need. Whenever I see a ring that has lots of pieces, I try to break it up as much as possible. Whole thing is here is it's high heat. We're being nice and gentle. We want these to fry quickly. We want them to absorb some oil but not get soggy. So yeah, just nice turn, and they're going to start reducing down. So we're just going to be constantly kind of coming over and looking at those. And then the paper towels, once we're done frying it, we're going to drop them onto here, sprinkle it with salt, and then kind of like let it roll off onto the next layer. So we whisk away as much oil that isn't absorbed, so that way they get crunchy, not greasy, soggy. Why do you use chopsticks? You see a lot of people do it that way, but why? Excellent question. Let me drain our shrimp stock, and then I'll get right to that question. That's a good one. I'm going to hold it. really wish I had that other pot right now. Rip Blue Corel bowl. I'm going a little, again, quickly here just because I do need to keep an eye on these guys. I'm going to turn down the heat slightly just to give myself a little breathing room. Ooh, that smells good. Here's our shrimp broth. Let's see that. Oh, I just spilled hot shrimp broth on my finger. Let's let that soak. Let's just give this a stir. Okay, so why do I use chopsticks? I find, especially for shallots, chopsticks are a nice way to kind of poke through the holes. They're wood, so they're safe to use on non-stick, which this pan is. And it gives me a good amount of control if I want to pick up 1 or 2 pieces or a large bunch. I'll give a further example in a second. We're going to reserve 1 cup of liquid, maybe 3/4 of a cup of liquid. So that's going to just get moved to right here. So, as an idea, there's a little piece of shrimp in there or something, which you might be able to see. I can just use the chopsticks to very deftly pick it up, carry it out. Again, it's safe to use on non-stick. And I also feel like I get a better motion out of, again, something small like this than I would with an equivalent fork. So we're starting to get kind of to that brownish color, light gold. We're not quite there, but we're going to prep our next step. So I'm actually just going to get that strainer clean. I'm trying to think of the best way to do this. We've got a bunch kind of going back to back. So I'm going to clean out the pan that just had our shrimp. More just, again, getting it nice and ready, getting rid of the solid matter out. I'm going to get our liquid back into it. So we're going to add our grits to it in a minute, but we're not quite ready. I want to make sure I've got the next landing spot ready. The next steps kind of have to be done back to back to back. This bowl is now going to get a quick rinse and dry it out. It is going to be holding hot shallot oil very soon. And then I'm going to clean out that strainer that we used. So all of those are going to be reused again, back to back to back. A little hectic right now, so I will respond to all questions as I can. See how they're getting nice and limp? Not something you want to hear often, but that's what we want here. That's how we know it's breaking down. I can also feel we got a good layer of oil where nothing's laying on the bottom, and that's also going to assist in preventing any charring. Because you get some charring and that can ruin the entire thing. Let's get the strainer cleaned. All right, strainer cleaned. I'm going to try a good job to dry it so there's going to be water on the back. Let's see our questions. Basically, it's kind of like using hands, but minus 3rd-degree burns. Yeah. Or more exactly, it's like using 2 long fingers to more deftly control. So again, the fact that you can pick stuff up, you can stir very easily by like widening up and then tightening as you pull up. Gives you a lot of mechanical action that, again, a fork or tongs just aren't able to do with the same level of precision. They do take some work. I'm not saying that, chopsticks, they're not hard, but like not everyone's used them, and that's fine. I actually have a pair of chef's chopsticks. and I'll show you what that is in a second. Let's get another. 20. Yeah, I'm not gonna risk losing this because I was sloppy or lazy with paper towels. I'll clean up what I spilled, but I'll get 2 new bits of paper towel down. The shallots are smelling fantastic, by the way. I might have said, but what kind of oil do you use? I'm using canola oil for this. So we're using canola oil, a nice neutral oil. The whole purpose of this right now is to get the oil to fry the shallots quickly. I do need to turn the heat up. To fry the shallots quickly and evenly, maximize the absorption of water, so we don't care about the flavor. We're going to be flavoring with the shallots. So here are my chef's chopsticks. We'll kick over the countertop real quick. So if these are the chopsticks I was just using, these are my chef's chopsticks. So you'd use this for like a much larger, like a heavy-duty wok. Now, you need a lot more force with it. I'm not as good with these, but there have been times where I just need to move stuff around. These will do that job. Again, they're enormous. For something small like this where I need precision, that's where the smaller chopsticks are perfect. These big honking ones, they're really only good for stirring or like, you know, picking up a couple large things in a big wok. Otherwise, the smaller ones are the much more precise and better for this application. Okay. I'm going to get a cup of grits out. So for 1 cup of grits, we are using 5 cups of liquid. It sounds like a lot. It is. We're also going to be simmering these for a good, good hour or so. These are stone ground grits. These are like traditional grits. You can see how it's a nice flaky material. So I got about and it's okay if it's not perfectly precise. I'll just be on a low heat while we concentrate on our shallots. It's also pretty inexpensive. Shallots, a pound of shallots was probably $2 from the store, maybe $3. Oil, you could buy a 5-gallon jug for pennies. Not really. A 5-gallon jug is probably is $8. So you consider using 2 cups of oil, and we're using a pint of oil, and we're using it's maybe this was maybe $4 to make this enormous pile of what will be delicious fried shallots. Now, what would you use crunchy fried shallots on? You could top soups with it. Anytime you're going to want, think of it as a replacement for bacon, maybe, where it's going to be salty, it's going to be snappy. So it's going to be good on soups. It's going to be on tops of anything where you want that contrast on top of maybe like a braised short rib or something. Sprinkling that on top would help marry the meat, a sauce, and those on top, kind of bring it all together. Isn't wood kind of bad to use for cooking because oils and tastes? Not really. Now, if you have it with some kind of crazy lacquer on it, potentially, but most modern utensils are going to have any oils or flavors. It's going to be just the cellulose left over, and it's going to be a very good. It's also safe on non-stick. So no, wooden utensils are perfectly fine. So this is actually the case. You can see I switched over to the big ones. The heat was too high for my fingers with my smaller chopsticks. I had to switch over to the chef's chopsticks because they keep my hands safely wet. I'm also not being too particular, but I can still pick up a big old pile of these. Oh, I'll kick the camera over so you can see better. But Again, this is just a case where the I really need the length of the chef's chopsticks. So this is going to take a couple minutes. I'd say we're about halfway done the process. Yeah, I did turn the heat down pretty heavily for a nice little while, so that is delaying us. But I haven't made fried shallots in probably about a year or so. So I wasn't 100% sure on how the timing would go, how fast it would go, and I wanted to be careful, make sure I didn't burn anything. Grandma lied to you. Well, again, there probably were like if you just go out into the if you just go out break off a branch and turn it into a pair of chopsticks, yeah, there's going to be like oils, some resins and stuff, and it's not going to be great for you. But like modern created like wooden utensils are fine, are perfectly fine. We're starting to get closer. We start to see more of that pale gold color. But we still have a lot of water to drive off. The big change for us is not necessarily time. It's going to be when that bubbling slows down significantly. You'll see pretty quickly that bubbling will just slow. It won't stop, but it'll slow. That's our indicator that there's no more water to be boiled off. Again, the fact that we went slow for a while is definitely causing this to go sort of impossible. It will be a little greasy, but we still should be fine. Take a look at my instructions and confirm. Yeah, it'll be another 5 minutes or so. Yeah, we're not to the point yet. We are ready for another beer. So as I said, I've got a delicious Kolsch. Let's give this a stir. All right, looking good. Kolsch, again, a German Kolsch, a hybrid beer, kind of in between a lager and an ale. This is a nice 4.5%er, so a nice low ABV. Yeah, gamer. Low ABV option. Gamer, did you can with these guys? Jack's Abbey, their Springdale collection. All right, I can see the bubbles are starting to change. They're not done yet. Maybe 2 more minutes, I think. But I can see that they've changed. They're bubbling at a slightly different cadence than we had a minute ago. Okay, I'm going to get the heat up slightly on our grits on the back, and I'm going to give them a stir. Looks super watery, but again, we really need to give the cornstarch time to hydrate. You don't think so? Okay, no worries. Oh, geez, gamer, come on.